All right, welcome back, everybody. Here we are again. We actually talked, and Daniel and I are committing to you that we will have at least one episode a week, whether it's me by myself or a guest, or me and Daniel, or Daniel and a guest, or just Daniel. But we are committing to that, so you can look forward to every week you will have an episode here.
Yeah,
And I feel pretty good about that because I like what we're doing, and we had life happening there for both of us that we got completely delayed about everything. But now I think we're back on track, and yeah, we're doing it in the middle of Mercury in retrograde. But hey, it's like if it's not a challenge, then why are we human?
yeah. So that means Mercury is just backwards, right? It's just like looking at us with evil eyes.
It's giving us bad juju. That's what it is.
I think we got it.
No, but I think we'll be fine. But that is, I guess it's a good way to bring in commitment. There is a lot of things about commitment where some people are very afraid of commitment, and I'm talking not relationships, well, also relationships, but commitment to work, commitment to just doing anything. And sometimes it used to, for me when I used to commit for something, it really used to get me really scared when I would commit to something because, oh man, now I have to do the best. And then my perfectionism would come out. And then all of a sudden, I was afraid if I committed to it, then it wouldn't be perfectly aligned with what I wanted to do or represent. And it brought up a whole bunch of fears to me. So for me, committing to this on video, on a YouTube video, it's like, it's a big step for me. And those that know me know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I'm just playing with commitment. I'm like a fear of commitment's almost a fear of failure
Mm-hmm.
because you
Yeah.
don't want to fail, so you don't want to commit. It's almost and yeah. And I've been working on actually not committing as much stuff, and only committing to things I do. I would just be like, I would do everything and tell people, and then people would be confused because I wouldn't do them. But I was just
Mhm.
like, it didn't bother me, but it bothered
Mhm.
other people. So I was like, okay, I'll just commit to the things that I know I can do and that are fun.
Yeah. And, for me, I had a twofold. I was overcommitted because I wanted to commit to everything. And then I had perfectionism on top of that. So, because of my perfectionism, my overcommitment was being too delayed and I was trying to please everybody. And no, man, it was just a downward spiral. So now I just commit to the things that I enjoy and commit to the things that I have to do. Like I have to pay bills. That's a necessary thing. So I commit to pay my bills. If not, I don't have a house or I don't have electricity. The
Right.
the essentials.
Yeah, I think that's important to pay your bills. I mean, if you don't, homelessness is not fun. I've heard. No one's ever been like, yay, homelessness. That's a little dark, but it's okay.
No, it's what it's. Everybody's going through a lesson, and no matter what stage of their life they're in, and sometimes it's so hard to see those lessons. It's people. We all do it. We look at a situation and we think our situation is bad, and then all of a sudden the universe shows us something else that, oh man, I could be that person. And
Right.
that's one of the things I've learned because I used to be a very big poor me. Oh man, I'm overloaded and I can't do this. And then all of a sudden I would see somebody else that, man, I thought I had a problem or I thought I had some issues. It's like, oh man, it's like, and it's different for everybody because what could be an issue for me might not be an issue for somebody else. Like some people that like to have a lot of things on their calendar. They like to manage that. I'm personally not that type of guy.
No, two
Yeah.
things on my calendar is enough. That's enough.
Yeah,
Um,
and balancing really is the key for that.
yeah, no, I agree. And just, yeah, just knowing yourself and like knowing what you can commit to or what you need in your life.
Mhm.
Do you need more space? Do you need more structure? Do you need more whatever that is? I would say we're way over planned as a society. So,
I agree.
back towards flow. Even it doesn't mean I know I have to show up to this today, but I don't have
Hmm.
to think about it 4 days from now. And that's what people do. And they're already planning. They're way too far ahead. And I think with the energies and how life is fling so fast,
Hmm.
people are still using the old planning method. Like I read Think and Grow Rich, and they're like, you need to plan out how you're going to make abundance.
Hmm.
And I was like, I like a lot of stuff in that book, but it doesn't relate to now. Because they have a long-term plan of how you're going to make abundance doesn't make sense because they might invent like a flying car in 3 days and it
Yeah.
will change all of business. So you can't be as planning anymore. Like having a 10-year plan doesn't even make sense. Like we might not even exist.
Yeah.
You don't know what this world is going to look like in 10 years. Like look at 10 years, 2009 compared to now. Like the world looks different. I mean, there's going to be automated cars by then, probably in
Hmm.
10 years. So like, you can't plan as much, which I think is driving some people mad.
Yeah. And that comes back to the very good point about we have to be living in the present moment. And that's what you're talking about is about living in the present moment. It doesn't mean that you're not thinking about the future. It means that you're living now and you're happy with the moment of time that you're in right now because there's no other time. I mean, if you're thinking about the future, you're stressing yourself out. And if you're thinking about the past, then you're like worrying yourself about things that you've done. So why not live now? And every day is a new day. That's why I loved one of the things Wayne Dyer talks about in one of his seminars. Uh, when he was alive, he talked about it, and he said every morning I wake up and I give gratitude uh, that I'm here, and I give gratitude that I'm good and I can wake up. And I think that's a lesson we all should learn. It helps us put us in that present moment.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm not going to be good when this happens or this happens, and it becomes that. It almost reminds me of being a little kid and
Mm-hmm.
having a test, and you're like, I'm not going to be good until I get an A on that test, and I'm going to struggle and I'm going to study and I'm going to make my life horrible until that test is over.
Yeah.
And then we're like, let me do that now with my business or my job. I'm not going to be good until I save enough money or pay off this debt. And it's like we're always like, until this happens, I'll be good. And I do it, but like it's just funny to notice that. But a kid before the age of 7 doesn't really do that until their ego structure isn't created. You don't watch them. I was around kids, and some were like 12, and some were young, and you could see the difference. Like the
Mm-hmm.
really young kids would be in the moment, and then their parents would say, "Don't do that." They'd be like, "Okay," and then they'd stop, and then they'd do something else. Like they were so quick. But then the
Yeah.
older kids, you could tell were overthinking things a little more. Like you
Mm-hmm.
could see it in their brain because their ego structure was being created. So they're like half wanting to play and be the moment, and then half wanting to be like an adult kid. Like it's a weird thing to watch at that like 8 to 12-year-old range. Um, but I just love watching kids because then I think about myself, like, oh, I need to be more like the 5-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
and still be responsible. Like, but can I be that in the moment? Can I like really just like enjoy this that's happening?
That's very true. I mean, uh, when we're having fun, we have such a structure. It's like adults don't do this, adults don't do that. And with a kid, I mean, especially the younger kids, you don't see them with that restriction for themselves. It's just that we put those restrictions on ourselves because of, oh, it's not the proper etiquette, it's not proper this. And what's really funny about etiquette or any kind of construct is that we created it. It's like, so
Right.
why can't we bend the rules a little bit for ourselves? Because our inner child always wants to play. I mean, even I remember how much fun I used to have when I was little, and I brought that forward finally. After everything I've gone through, and I allowed my child to play, and it's kind of fun to be in that moment and knowing that I'm playing right now, and I can do what I call adulting when I'm done playing.
Right. Yeah. And I love, because I do like, all my coaching is always playing. Maybe that's what I
Mhm.
do. It's like let's do work, but we're going to play while we do it. It's like if
Yeah.
we're going to, basically my method of healing or doing anything is if I'm going to vacuum the floor, I'm going to dance while I'm doing it. So I'm always playing while I'm working. Like it's always just intertwined together. Like if I'm going to
Yeah.
be driving Uber and driving people, I'm going to like play a game with them. Like we're going to talk
Mhm.
about wizards or something in the car. Like I'm still doing my job, but we're just having a good time doing it. Um,
Yeah.
but the idea that we have to do stuff first and then we get to play, I think is backwards.
I
We need
agree.
to have fun and play first. I structure my day this way and do
Hmm.
what we love to do and then get the things done. And you don't have to do that. I mean, everyone's different,
Hmm.
but we put getting stuff done before enjoying life. That's backwards to me. Like
That's
if I
true.
came down here from the stars and I'm supposed to hear and have an experience on this earth plane for this millisecond, in this space of time, I'm gonna freaking enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the funny part. We think we're all this and this planet Earth, and really, when you look at the whole scale of the universe, we're like a measly little dot within another dot. That's in another dot. That's another dot. I mean, we worry about our house, uh, and we worry about racism and everything. I mean, we can't even get along in this one little dot when there's so many universes out there. And I feel that's part of the child's curiosity, that when we, for whatever reason, as we grow into an adult, we start losing some of that curiosity. Or if we have that curiosity, we're not allowed to have that curiosity because you're an adult. You got to make sure you fit within this little box.
Yeah, and really, for me, it comes down to caring what other people think. And it becomes, I need to look good. It's almost still always, it stems to that 12-year-old ego structure, 8 to 12, where you're starting to like care about what your friends think and I got to be cool. And, part of me still is trying to be cool even at 32, I realize deep down. And like, we're still doing that. It's like, oh, I can't dance in the car and sing because the person next to me might think I'm weird. That feeling, even though you'll never see him again, or they'll probably think it's awesome. But,
Yeah.
we can't be our joyous self in the moment because we got to look good, which is actually messing up our bodies because kids, when they walk, they run, they dance, but now we're walking stiff because we got to look like adults. And we're like,
Yeah.
literally our bodies can't function because we don't want to look weird. Like we don't want to do this like, oh, weird stretch because people might judge us. So we're going to, but that feels so good. Like you can
Yeah.
do that in the middle of the street.
Yeah. I mean, even like, it's so funny we're talking about this because even like when we got here, I mean, doing our video, it's like, oh, we got to make sure. At least me, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I don't have enough light here. I don't have this, and it's like I had to everything have it within a certain parameters, and some of it, I see. I mean, one of it, I needed more light on my on my screen here, so you wouldn't been able to really see me. So some of those things are necessary, but I was taking it way too serious. As you're talking about that, and it's like, all right, it's like I should have played around a little bit more than, oh man, it's like I got to make sure this is this is that. So that's kind of funny.
I mean, look, my pillowcase is off the pillow. I didn't notice right
Oh
there.
no, what they're gonna talk about that on YouTube.
The OCD people are gonna hate me. They're just gonna be looking at that. They're just gonna be like, "God damn it, Dad, freaking pissing me off." But like, I did the best I could. I didn't notice. But like, yeah, people don't even create anything because it needs to be perfect before it's even
Mhm.
created. And
And
like,
that
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and that's me. I mean, I got to a point that I was kind of too perfect, trying to be too perfect, and so things wouldn't get done. That's the other part of perfectionism that was really a stumbling block for me.
Yeah. No, I actually, from the channelings I do, because I tap in all these alien energies and playing with
Mhm.
all that stuff, and then people say, "Oh, you're gonna tap in the dark energies," blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Oh my god, like there's enough dark energies on Earth. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna have fun, up there. Like, oh no, if an even alien talks to me, the world's gonna end." People listen to Donald Trump every day, so evil aliens are nothing. But like, they they said like, and I agree with this, that perfectionism, I might have said this on here before, is the sickness of the earth. is humans thinking they're bad, and perfectionism is an epidemic.
I like that. Yeah, that is pretty accurate. I feel, at least coming from that side of it.
Yeah, and it's really just beating ourselves up, right? Like people even say
Mhm.
humans aren't good, and like all this like mumbo jumbo. That's if there's any evidence of my life, 99% of humans have been really nice to me. Like there has been those moments when they haven't been, but really like from a statistical standpoint, if I like did the numbers, like humans are kind and they want to help.
Mhm.
So, but what that perfectionism just holds us back from being creators and like doing like, oh, I got to get it right the first time. But
Mhm.
that never has happened to me.
Yeah, and see that's if you want to know like what would hold me back. So what would happen with me, for example, a website. I was working on a website, and the website wouldn't get created because I wanted it to be perfect. And for whatever reason, I wouldn't get it started. And even, I mean, talking about the one that I've been talking about doing for us, actually, I had some technical issues, so that's why it hasn't been up. But at the beginning, I noticed that pattern in me. It's like, oh, wait a minute, it's not perfect. It's not this way. And all of a sudden, I caught myself. And then by the time I caught myself, that's when I started having issues working with the website. So it's like, okay, now I got to fix the issues. But it was kind of funny seeing that because it does trickle down to not being productive because you want to be extremely perfect in your productivity. So
Right.
yeah, so it's like a stumbling block to not get things started because you already look at the end point and you want to talk about the present moment. Oh, I'm getting this as I'm talking about it. Perfectionism is that you're living in the future of it. It's like you're, at least with me, it's like I'm living in the future of it. It's like, look, it has to look this way, so it's never going to get done because to get it done that way, it has to look this way. Yeah, that's a vicious circle, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it just goes in circles and circles because people are then they'll go, oh, I have writer's block, let's say, or like a website block. And then they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm having website block. I shouldn't be having blocks. What do I do to fix this block? So one, they took their external perfectionism and then they put it on internal perfectionism. So now people are like, what do I do different? I must not be in a high enough vibration to write today and do my website.
Right.
Oh, I better meditate more and have more positive thoughts because one, if I have a racist or negative thought or a weird thought about someone, then I'm a horrible person. And
Mm-hmm.
oh no, even though you're picking up on the collective consciousness, it's not even you because you're probably a
Mm-hmm.
sensitive person if you're listening to this because you care about spirituality. So it just becomes this like I watch it in people, and I've done it, so I'm a professional perfectionism, or but like that internal, and then it turns to that. Well, Wayne Dyer, when I listen to them talk, and Eckhart Tolle, when they have writer's block, they're like just like I'm not supposed to write today. Like they don't go into
Right.
anything. Like, which is such a more self-loving thing to say. Like, oh, I don't have any motivation today. That's fine. Let me just connect with God. Shit.
Yeah,
That's enough.
allow something else to come through if anything is meant to come through. It's like we
Right.
talked about in the last podcast. Sometimes doing nothing is everything that you have to be doing.
Doing nothing is definitely doing something.
Yeah.
I mean, I did nothing yesterday. Kind of. I juggled and hung outside and
Mm.
took walks. Like I was just, and I haven't done that in a while. And it was so great. And then I had all these freaking ideas come through, and I started like a program and all this stuff in one day. So my
Mm-hmm.
mantra I got from Kyle Cease is like, when I'm doing nothing, it is doing something. And every time I'm saying I'm doing nothing, I'm like, no, you're doing a lot right now by sitting with
Yeah.
yourself. Because I know internally saying doing nothing has resistance, but saying doing nothing is doing a lot doesn't. Because then somehow my perfectionism inner self is like, oh yeah, you are meditating, so you're going to be making more money and having more ideas, and doing nothing and sitting in nature is going to make you more productive and blah blah, which is actually proven by positive psychology. The happier you are and the more you're in flow, the more you get done.
Yeah.
So this is not like far-fetched woo-woo stuff anymore, which I love woo-woo stuff, but it's grounded.
Well, it's the earthly plane that we got to live in, so we have to
Right.
have some earthly rules in order, no matter what type of thing we deal with. It's funny because we have all these constructs within our earthly plane, is how I call it, and yet when we connect to our higher source, God or the universe, whatever you name you put to it, there the only rule is to just move along and just go with the flow. And if there's a block, then just move through it. And if there's another block there, or if you're flowing in this direction, do you want to change, then just move along to that side. And the universe knows how to do that really well. But here in our earth, it's like, and I feel it's because of the control that we like to have. We like to construct things in the way that we're not guided to, but more we're told to do by other forces. And I think that's very important to know, because that part of perfectionism is a part of control that we want. Like for me, it's like I'm wanting it to be this way, rather than allowing myself to think about it going, oh, it could be all these possibilities. Which for me, that's a very big aha. And it's happening right now as we're speaking about it. So when we say we're raw here, I mean, we truly are. I'm going through it as I talk about it, and hopefully I'm making sense. And Daniel, you're my sounding board here. Am I making sense of what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, if it makes sense. I kind of drifted off for a second. It just got really sunny through my window, and I was like paying attention, but I was like, oh, it's like in the mountains, it just gets sunny and it's beautiful because it was snowing. So half distracted, but I'm glad you had that aha moment as I was doing my best. Because sometimes like I just go.
Oh, I know what you mean. It is hard to stay focused.
I'm not very spiritual because I miss what someone was saying. But that's okay. But I probably could energetically just whip myself out of it, as I've done as a therapist and coach a million times. I didn't really hear what you're saying, but I kind of could just pretend I did.
Oh, I just love how raw we are in this. It really is good to be like this.
Oh, see, I got my pajama pants. See, I told you they'd be on there with the Darth Vader. All right.
All right.
That's everything up there. But yeah, no. So the planning thing. Okay, see, I remember now. So yeah, when we have a certain way of plan, the universe I always say, you make a plan, the universe is a terrorist that blows it up. That's probably offensive, but I feel like that's what God always blows up your plans. Mm-hmm. So it's okay to have them. It doesn't matter. They're gonna get blown up. So yeah, being in that present moment, to me, not having a plan opens you up for more possibilities. Yeah, you're so structured, it has to be this way, and you're missing. It would be like a river. I watch a river flow, and the river will go around the rocks. Mm-hmm. It's not oh, I gotta wait and know where I'm gonna go. It has a destination, which is the ocean always. Mm-hmm. But it flows around the rocks, which is so much easier than pushing through them. I think sometimes you have to, but not that often. I think
you stated it really well, though. It's not really about the overall plan. It's about the direction. So if I have a direction, I want to create a website. Right? I'm using that because it's my example for me. Yeah. So rather than say I want the website to look like this, I rather go and say, you know what, let me look to see what other things are out there. And I do that, which is really funny now that I'm saying this out loud.
Yeah, looking for inspiration. I mean, every artist does that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we look at different things, but for whatever reason, I come back to, I had an imagery of what it would look like. And I guess it starts from that, but my big thing is don't limit myself to that. So if I have a direction of getting something done, don't limit it by my expectations of, it should really look like this. because that's where I find I limit myself in that constructive creative process. I mean, because
Yeah,
I already have certain expectations.
right. And the funny thing, it's not like you couldn't redo it. So it's like this thing. I do painting and stuff and writing,
Mhm.
and it's people like I gotta write the perfect thing, but you can always delete the writing and change it later. So you like to paint something, you have to do the first paint stroke to get the second, and you might
Right.
see something you didn't even know by the eighth, right? Like in business, they call it course correcting. It could be that
Mhm.
you innovate in the moment, whatever in business, or flow with it. It's like you didn't know that rock was coming, so there might be a way around it. And in my life, I'm almost find more ways around things than most people ever have. It's like I find the
Yeah.
tricks in things, but that to me is the flow, right? The water's finding the trick to get around it. It's
Yes.
almost more elusive than that pushing through. Um,
Yeah. When
so
you push through, I mean, think about it. When you're pushing through something, you actually are have already created the block. Because if you're pushing, that means there's something already holding you back.
right,
That's the way I see it.
which it usually comes down to it should have gone this way. It should be this way. I
Hmm.
make the joke, it's like we're this is the way we're the universe. I said this to my client today. It's like the universe doesn't give us we have a plan, like I'm gonna get a sucker from the universe, like we're a little kid. And when the universe doesn't give us the sucker we want, we get upset and we're like, I gotta raise my vibration because I didn't get the thing I wanted, that sucker, and it didn't give it to me, so I'm gonna be upset and I'm gonna like, and it's like, no, like the universe has a different plan for you. That's
Hmm.
why it blew up your plans, or God, or source, or nature, or life.
Hmm.
It's because it knows something better is over here. It has a different thing. If you don't get the job you want or you got fired, you can be like, oh, I was my vibration and I didn't have a positive thought on Thursday, so on Friday I got fired. It's absolutely ridiculous. Or it could be that the universe fired me, so it has a bigger plan for me, even though this totally sucks in the moment. And I
Hmm.
feel like shit, but I know there's a better plan for me. Um,
That's faith right there. What you're talking about, you have to faith that you are in the perfect place where you're supposed to be. I mean, and that's the beauty about it. I always say, the perfection is in the imperfection because it is what we think is. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't have gotten fired from that job, but 9 times out of 10, the next job is something either we enjoy or it has taught us what we didn't like about that previous job. So we start looking for a job that, you know what, I didn't like that kind of stuff. So let me see if I can find another job that does that. So, and to me, that's the beauty about failure. Failure gives you that option of what you don't like, and you get to do a do over. And it's
yeah.
that's what I think, at least.
Yeah, I mean that's creation. It'd be like if you're
Mhm.
painting something or you wrote a paper, you go back and edit it. So that's how it is in life. Is it's like, well, I got this job, I like this parts of the job, but I didn't like this parts of the job. So the
Mhm.
next job, I'll make it a little better. Like you're constantly, I see life as an art piece. You're constantly creating. It's a painting, and you'll be like, at some points in life, I'm gonna go get drunk 4 nights a week, and I did that. And I'm like, well, I don't like this anymore. And then last weekend I went on a couple dates. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think I just want to be by myself. But it's like I don't like beat myself up. I just create the next thing that I like better because it that's it. It's just that's all it is. This is the next piece of art you create, or the painting. You just keep on making it better and better and better instead of being like, oh, I had to be perfect now, because you would in that moment you are perfect,
Mhm.
right? Like you got in debt and it's like, oh, okay, that's what I thought was the best. And I went, oh shit, that's not a good idea. Scratch it out. I'm gonna create this now.
Yeah, we're being taught what to do by either failure or by being pushed a certain way or a direction. And it's just a matter of whether we decide to move in that direction. And to me, a lot of people ask me, so how do you know you're going in the right direction? Honestly, to me, it's if it feels comfortable, usually there's something too easy about it. But if it's something new and uncomfortable, to me, that's where, personally for me, I like to go into those uncomfortable places because it's new for me, and I'm learning something new. And I'm being very abstract, but what I mean by that, so if I was told to program something, a program that does a widget, widget functionality, and I've never programmed that. To me, I see that as a learning experience. Or even in life, it's like, oh, you know what? It's like I want to go uh, skydiving, and I've never been skydiving. But that uncomfortableness about skydiving is the cool part for me, because it's the excitement. It's the new exploratory thing, and I'd love to explore. For me, and there different people have different types of things that they enjoy. For me, I enjoy exploring, so I will always, about 99.9% of the time, I will explore something new. So if you bring me, hey, it's like, did you hear now you can climb trees and jump off of them and rappel and do this and all that, and if it's something new that I haven't done, I would definitely try it out at least once to say that no, I don't like it. Even food, I'm a big trying everything about food, and once I even tried. My quota is always 3. So if I don't like it by the 3rd time, then that's it. Then I really don't like it. But that's the way I do it. But it helps me in growing. It's to me that I rather be in that uncomfortableness because I know I'm going to get something more out of it than being in that comfortable zone.
Yeah. And again, I think that's an adult thing. Because little kids there's no they don't have any uncomfortableness with learning something new. It's like
Yeah.
they're okay with the frustration and all that comes with it. It's like weird. And again, I'm not perfect by this. I watch children because I feel like I coach people through play. So who's going to be my mentors? 4-year-olds.
Yep.
They're just really good at playing. Or dogs. Like I live with a dog and I watch the dog. Like he is an expert at playing. It's being when he's in the moment. But there's no uncomfortableness with doing that. They don't care. It's because it's almost that fear of failure, which I have too, creates that uncomfortableness with doing the new thing. Because what if I didn't do it? Can't do it. It's like that's the fear. But it's like, but who cares? You go on to something else. Like it's so interesting. Like I juggle, and literally people are like, I'm never gonna juggle. Adults will say this, and kids don't do this. You literally start doing it.
Yeah.
I can learn how to juggle 3 balls in a week. Yeah, for 20 minutes a day, and adults can't even do it. It's like it doesn't have a serious purpose, so probably that's why, right? Even though it's probably the best thing they could ever do for their brains, but like the kids just do it, and they don't care, and they'll do it until they. And I learned that from circus performing and being in the circus. Like, you just do stuff until you can do it, and you're gonna fail. Until I learn a trick, I'm gonna fail 1,000 times, but once I get it, that feeling's amazing. But when I'm learning the trick, I know I don't beat myself up. I'm like, well, I know how this works, whatever. And that's with business, running a business or doing a job or whatever. Like you're gonna fail probably 1,000 times, and that's the fun of it, because it wouldn't be worth learning, and you're not gonna make any money doing something that people could just do right away. So
yeah. That's the. I like what you said about a kid is not really they really are okay just trying it out. And for me, it's like it's taken me a while to get there, but because I was very explorative, but also I had a lot of reservation when I would do that, and I've actually moved through that quite a bit. But like I said, like I was talking a little bit earlier, it's like it's we're we have that construct of adults shouldn't do that. So now I'm having to break that. I'm having to get out of that box and go, it's like, you know what? I can't. It's like, why am I saying I can't do that? It's like, why not? And that's what I mean about the uncomfortableness. Uh, it really means that that's the place where we should go into the uncomfortableness.
yeah, because that's super fun.
Yeah.
I like feeling comfortable. It's like when you go to a scary movie, and I'm not a huge horror fan,
Mm,
but there's almost like that like funness when you're watching that drama movie, like, oh, what's gonna happen? And you're like,
yeah.
ooh, like you don't want life to be so planned out. It's so surprise, right? That makes you feel alive. And I think that's why when people get such in a routine, they feel dead. I call them
Yeah.
feel they look dead in the eyes, which is from like a Wookiee Foot song, but like they look dead. And that's why I think just changing things up for most people is the fastest way to increase your actually attraction, law of attraction.
Yeah.
Um, because it makes you present. You have to be present when things are unexpected.
Oh yeah. There's no other place you can be. You got to be. Uh, if you're doing something new, you have to be there because you have to learn it, and that's the time when we will discover if it is for us. Because if we're bored, then we're gonna go. It's like, oh, okay, so this isn't for me, and
Right.
that's the child. You're right. It's like that's the child that has to decide. It's like, okay, no, not for me. And I don't know. I do like to explore a lot now. I will say that, but there's still some places where I have some reservations, but I cross it over. I still cross it over no matter what. I haven't ran into anything right now that I feel uh, uncomfortable. So I'm looking for always something new to try out just for that. So a friend, oh, actually I am. It's like but this doesn't really feel comfortable. It's more of exciting. It's like a friend of mine is going to teach me how to play the guitar.
Mm.
So that's going to be something cool and creative for me. And yeah, I'm excited about that. I don't know why that brought that up, but you just came into that.
Right. Which is because the more you leap and the more you do new things,
Mhm.
it becomes your new normal. Um,
Yes.
Kelsey talks a lot of this, but it's like leaping becomes more normal and doing something new than not. It's almost becomes like you feel uncomfortable if you're not growing. It's like, why would I stay doing the same thing? This is worse.
Yes.
And there's a balance there, but when you do want a guitar, it helps you with your making websites because now you have more of a flow, or
Hmm.
you're now having something exciting to balance out the boring. Like, and that's what I think is so important is knowing that it's all working together. And I think we
Yeah.
separate life into such segments. Like my juggling and playing helps my videos now, and my videos now helps me to drive Uber more until my business growing and blah blah blah. It's all interacting in this like beautiful way.
Yes.
And to think that we somehow can like mentally like understand it and control it is absolutely one. It sounds like a lot of work, and I'm
Mm.
super want ease in my life, so I just would rather just let it all let all the molecules do their things so I don't have to control the molecules. But there's very many spiritual people using spiritual teachings like to control the molecules. They're like, I'm going
Hmm.
to be positive so I get the sucker from the universe. And that
I
just
want grape instead of orange.
right. Universe, you have failed me because I asked you for $2,000 and you only gave me 700, but I had a really great week. Way better than I could have imagined. But like, yeah, it just gets ridiculous.
And we're talking about like what we do in life and everything, and things that we move through, or I'm talking like my experiences also. But the other part about it is about the unknown. I mean, it's been scientifically proven when you're trying something new, you're getting new neurons in your brain. I
Right.
mean, so there is a physical or mental benefit to actually doing something that is in the unknown, because that really creates more neurons connecting in your brain, which, like you said, creates more creativity in other aspects or whatever part of the brain it's going to go into. So there is a benefit to this. It's not just about, hey, let me jump off a cliff and fly. it's a it's really about also expanding the way your mind will think, because as you create more neurons in your brain, it's like, or more connections, I should say, uh, it helps. I mean, they even say in the study that they did, they said, even when you're driving, why don't you pick a different route rather than the same route you take all the time? And even just that little changes that. And it's really cool to see because I'm a big guinea pig for myself. So I always, anything that I hear about like this, I always try it out. And I noticed my creativity got better when I started changing my routes. I drive to work or a job that I go to or something. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. No, and I think it's so important because that's, to me, feminine energy. I'm not worried as much as where I'm going because that's important,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm worried about the route I'm taking and the flow of it. Like it's enjoyable, right? Like
Right.
to me, changing it up makes it more enjoyable, which increases and then increases your presence. And if you want to attract your reality, being present in the moment is the fastest way to feel better.
Yeah.
I have not found a better route. I mean, positive thinking works. All these things are important, but like
Mm-hmm.
in the moment, instantly, like my breath goes. And even Abraham Hicks, who talks about positive thinking, says if we
Mm-hmm.
could just teach you not to think, we would. So
Say
very
that
the
one
same
more
thing.
time.
Abraham Hicks said if we could teach you not to think, we would, but we can't.
Oh, oh, okay. I hadn't
So,
heard that one yet. So,
so they said it once, and it just rang true. I mean, it was for
mm-hmm.
me. So not, I mean, not you don't not think on purpose, but having more presence and doing different things gets you in the moment, which your chatter is less, right? Like
Yes.
I'm juggling a new trick. My brain will chatter if I just do 3-ball juggling because I can just be like da 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 da. I can do that without even thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm juggling 5 balls because that's newer to me. That's the next step. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have to be in it. So, and you need both. So sometimes I'll do the tricks I already know because that's fun and it's not, and then I'll, but it makes me present when I'm doing that new trick.
Mm-hmm.
So in a new drive, you have to be present. Like, how did I get home? That's how you know you're not present. I've done that 1,000 times. So I mean, that's why I do Uber. I do all these jobs where it's never the same because I
Mm-hmm.
like that. But I think that's increased my presence over time.
Yeah, you're right, because you do have to be very aware of, I mean, with Uber, you're always going to, it's really cool when you think about it, because with Uber, you're always going to have a different drive, one. So
Yeah,
you do have to be present to know the new direction you're going to go. And it's funny I'm saying it this way because that comes back to what we were talking about planning. It's like you can know your destination. How you get to that destination can change any way. And you're always going to have, with Uber driving, you're always going to have a new direction that you're going to go to. And that is
yeah,
the same thing with life. It's like there's always going to be a new direction that we go on. and, and go ahead and try that new direction. I mean, if you were going to go that way, then go that way now. And if you know that you're going to yoga class, then maybe take a different route to yoga class. Or if you're going to start a website, start the website and with a different way. Started with doing different things that you do. Like for example, for me, it's like what I'll do now. I'm going to change the way I start up the routine, and instead of trying to create what I feel it's going to be, I'm going to just turn it the other way around. I'm going to look at examples rather than creating the construct before I even start the creative process. And that was a limiting point. So I'll change my direction, and how I get there, I'm not going to put a construct on it. I'm not going to say I'm going to do it this way.
yeah. And that's the mental like martial arts I like to call it. It's like you
Mm-hmm.
need to know like I have this intention, but I'm not going to control how I get there. And that's like a really
Yep.
like fine line. It's like saying I want to go here, but now I'm just going to be in the moment. And it's like to me, it's the out breath, in breath. But a lot of times we're just always out breathing. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I want. This is what I want. But we're like out of breath. But we don't in breath and let the universe take care of it, which is we need the feminine energy.
Allowing the journey to be the journey and not worry so much about the destination.
And trusting that the journey will get you to the destination that you've
Yes.
always wanted or couldn't even imagine. Because
Yeah.
sometimes people think, I played this game last week, where I didn't have a plan any day, and I ended up getting all the intentions I set for the week. It happened in ways I couldn't freaking imagine, but it was so much fun. Like,
Yes.
and it was just like, whoa, I could actually get my intentions without controlling it. And the universe is like, yep. And I'm like, okay.
Now,
Like, how
see,
much can I
we
trust?
got you, man. We got you, man.
And I'm guided to do it in a ridiculous way where there's actually no plan for the day. And like, you don't have to go that far where it's like, I don't even know where I'm going to get to work. I'm going to wait until my legs start moving. Like, I'm like, but that's because I love presence and play. That's what I teach. So, but to me, it's more fun because I love the unexpected. And I used to hate surprises as a kid. It was really weird. And now I really love it. Like, I think when I listen to people say I visualized this thing exactly how it did and now it came to fruition, I'm like, that sounds super boring. Like, it's like you already knew the end of the movie. I don't want to know.
So Very good point. Very good point.
And I can put out intentions. Like, you do that naturally. You don't have to work on people. Like, I need to know my direction. I'm like, you want to make more money. You want to have a fun life. You want to have a healthy relationship. Like, you don't need to create intentions. You've created a fuck enough of them. So like now you need to like, it's like Abraham Hicks would say, right? You've already created it all. So now just relax. You created enough for enough lifetimes. Like we think we need more contrast, but really we need more chilling and flowing. Because I mean, places maybe in India need more direction, but like our society in America, which is, I assume I'm talking to most people in Western society, because they don't need this help, needs more just flow.
Our flow is about to come to an end, at least for this time.
Oh, good.
But we're always going to have some more flow for you guys. And always hit us up on our comments, YouTube. Feel free to send some comments our way there, and subscribe, and even click the little like button down there and let us know what you think.
Yeah, and everyone just let Mario know how good looking he is. So just write that down there. Like, Mario, you're so good looking.
No, I want to always be working on something. That's the way it's going to be. So as always, I'd like to leave a challenge for everybody, and I'll go first this time around. My challenge is actually by what I've just talked about. It's like let's allow ourselves to be in the unknown and pick one uncomfortable thing that you have been putting in the back burner for months, years, weeks, whatever, and go ahead and do it soon, like within a month. And you're going to see it's going to be a really awesome feeling. That's mine. What is yours, Daniel?
It's a good question. Moving your body the way it wants to move. Like you saw me like stretching and like do weird body movements, and you don't have to do it in front of people, but like just let your body move. Like, don't have to be like, I gotta be this way and this is weird. Like, just let your body move in weird ways. I don't care if it's dancing or you're just sitting in a chair, car, but like whatever that is to do, let your body do it, because you'll feel so much better.
Yeah.
And if you need to do this, just do this. Like, you look at an animal, I look at ducks, they get upset and they shake it off. They're like Taylor Swift, and then they move on. So like, do that. Like, you need that. Go in the bathroom at work and just go, and then you'll feel much better.
It feels really good. I agree, because I do that sometimes. Sometimes I just go like that, shake my head, and it just feels so much better. I can't do it with headphones. If not, I do it. So.
I tried it. It doesn't work.
But well, Daniel, thank you as always. It's a pleasure, and you guys, you get ready for another episode next week. And like I said, subscribe and comment. We love you guys, and always look at your journey, and don't worry, that journey will get you where you need to go every time.
Supposedly. I mean, just do it and see if it works. Be a little scientist with it. Hey, if I just went with the flow, just did whatever I wanted in the moment. Does it work out? Because that's naturally you're a scientist since you're a little kid. So
Yeah, that is
just
true.
test it.
Test it and then
If it
let us
doesn't
know.
work, then stop doing it. Just like eating pickles. I ate pickles and I hate them, so now I don't eat them.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.